And
you
you do
explained
have
me
the audio
in
on.
your last of my questions a couple of months ago,
Mhm.
briefly what this test is today. But could you go over that again?
Yeah, sure.
And how it was set up and basically what it's trying to do?
Yeah, sure. We are videotaping. Good morning, I'm Cameron Armstrong, the election supervisor for San Juan County elections. Today we're doing our official LNA for the April 27th special election. And I also have here our election specialist, Amy Kedwell, and an observer,
Yeah,
Republican Party, Tom Starr.
yeah.
So what we're doing today is we are testing our election equipment. We're testing the scanner, the computers, to make sure that the ballots that we scan in come out with an accurate test. So the first thing that we do is, knowing what we have in the election, we create a matrix. And within the matrix is a list of all the districts, races that will be on the ballot. And with each of the measures or the races, there is a vote in each precinct, which should match up to a ballot for that precinct. So each ballot in that precinct will have a vote for that race. And every race or measure on the ballot will be voted for and accounted for in this matrix. And as we go down the list, there's every precinct involved in the election. And then we'll have a yes vote or a no vote. And each yes vote, no vote will have a separate or a different outcome number, which will also confirm that the election equipment is reading that particular race correctly. So if there's 3 measures with yes and no, the yes votes is going to have 2 votes, 3 votes, 4 votes. So you can decipher which one is which race. It'll also be labeled too. So when we create our matrix, we also print out a ballot to match each precinct. Then when we print out the ballot, we're printing out a test ballot, which is different from the ballot that you would receive in the mail. The ballot that you receive in the mail is the official ballot. And with the barcodes on the side, that helps, that will also decipher the difference between a test ballot and official ballot. So by going from the matrix, it'll say precinct 21, and then we look to precinct 21. And on precinct 21, there should be a vote for yes and a vote for no. So we'll have 2 ballots, not these 2. One will have a yes vote, one will have a no vote. So when we scan these ballots, at the end we'll have our cumulative report, and the cumulative report will show the results tallied from these ballots. And the results of the cumulative report should match our matrix report. And if there is any discrepancies at that point, we'll go through and check the ballot against the matrix to see if we have a human error where we marked something not enough or too many, and then rerun the test to make sure that it comes out accurately, that the matrix matches the cumulative report, which will confirm that our scanner is working, the data is transferring from this computer, tallying to this computer, which basically will verify all the results. And questions?
I don't think so.
Okay, great.
Is this the first LMA you've watched?
Is this what?
The first logic and accuracy test that you have watched?
No, I watched it before, but I had no idea what was going on.
Yeah.
So I asked her to give it a little speech.
That's great.
about it.
It's great.
So we have everything laid out. We have our matrix, we have our test ballots, and then after that, we'll sign our certification of the LNA prior to running the LNA, we've gone through to verify the versions of the computers, the equipment versions, and also the software versions. And then this certification is for the ABU Accessible Voting Unit, which is also set up during the election prior to the election with the election data. So we have a ballot printed from the ABU. So we know that ballot, if anybody voted from there, is mixed in here and it will also go through. So there's a certification for that it's set up and working properly. Okay. So I'm just gonna go over here and scan the ballots.
You heard that from Red yet? Is that idea come out of your DNC? Cool.
We're also videotaping too with audio.
Oh, sorry.
No, just say again.
Hi, everybody.
Prior to doing the scan, we're gonna print a zero report. And the zero report should show that we haven't scanned anything yet. That's just another way to verify that we're starting from scratch. And when we take our data over to this other computer, which tallies the votes, we will also do a zero report showing that no votes have been tallied on that computer.
A brilliant idea. I mean, basically, testing all possible outcomes and making sure that they're being read. It was David Elliott who first came up with the idea of the development test. He was currently the policy director or something like that with the Secretary of State's office.
So after we scan each batch, we get a report on the screen that says ballot scan with 37 ballots and sheet scan 37, and it also says sheets rejected 0. That's a good day. Okay, so we're gonna save this batch and we'll set this batch aside over here. The other ballots that we've also prepared in the test deck is a blank ballot, and that just verifies that the scanner is reading a blank ballot, meaning there's nothing voted. We also do an overvote, so we know that the computer is reading overvotes and telling us anytime there is an overvote on a ballot, the votes cancel each other, so there is no vote. When there are overvotes, we do look closely at the ballot to make sure that they didn't cross something out when they were trying to make a correction. For the LNA test, we just are doing a straightforward overvote to verify that. The other thing we also test in the test deck is for write-ins. For this election, we don't have any write-ins since we just have 4 measures. So that will be excluded from the matrix and the report. Once we're done scanning the ballots, we go through and review the ballots. In here, we're looking for the overvotes and the blank ballot. So I'm going to put a filter in for a blank ballot to verify that that's there. And with this software program, everything's nicely color coded, which is blue is blank. We also wrote on the ballot blank, so we know that that ballot is intentionally blank. It just makes it very clear to us. We're going to accept this ballot as being blank. And then the other one we're looking for is the overvote. There should be one overvote in this test deck. And then here we have an overvote. This is a true overvote. They voted for yes and voted for no, so we're going to accept this as an overvote. In the cumulative report, it'll show as an overvote, and it won't be included in the counts up above since they cancel each other out. So we're going to accept that as an overvote. And the rest of the ballots will be what's actually voted and undervotes for the races measures that weren't voted on. For the measures that are voted, they show up in white, and you can see there's a clear mark for yes. An undervote is in yellow, and nothing's been accepted, so it's showing as an undervote, which is what we want. What we do during an election is we will randomly go through the undervotes. It's just another double check for additional write-ins that possibly may have not been caught during review, but during the review, there are 2 people reviewing all the ballots. We can just go in and accept the batch, but I just like to do a random audit of each batch throughout the batch, just say, okay, everything is looking the way it's supposed to throughout the election. So here, just doing that, I'm just going to randomly go through and say, that's voted, undervote, undervote, voted. So I'm content with that. I'm a bit more stricter during the election though. So here I'm going to take this ballot or take this batch. I'm going to accept the batch. And once we accept the batch, everything that is voted or not voted will be written. I'm going to write the data to a V drive, which will take the data from this computer over to this computer, which will tally. And again, we're double checking that with 37 ballots, we know we scanned in 37 ballots. The V drive is currently selected. So we'll select the batch, write the data to the drive. And ballots written is 37. We'll say, okay, we're good with that. And then we'll close this V drive so nothing else can be written to it. And then take the data over to this computer over here, which will do our tally.
I'm having crashing problems.
Yeah.
So is Robin.
Yeah, when I try to write it from anything.
Okay, so before I put in the drive, I set up a task, and the task is for the official LNA, which will keep this data in its own little file folder, separate from any other ballots that are brought over. And we will print the zero report first. And before printing, just making sure that the measures that we have in the election are there. It's, it's the data that's supposed to be there. The results should also show 000. So I'm content with that. We'll print this out. And then we're going to insert the B drive into the computer to read the ballots that are on there. And we'll also put the key in too, that's helpful. Okay, so we know that the program read the drive, the status is read, it read 37 ballots. So again, verifying the information that we left over here and brought over here is appearing here. And then we will turn on the tabulate. And again, looking up here to make sure that 37 ballots are read. And then print the cumulative report of our results. Okay, so as far as their report over here with their other reports. And Amy will read the results from the cumulative report. Will match up to the matrix and the numbers should match up.
All right, SJC Fire Protection District number 3, proposition number 1, yes, 2, no, 1.
That was the fire?
SJC Fire Protection District.
I'll have to relabel those. This one should be town. This is the label of the measure, but the first one is town.
Okay.
So I'll need to put in some, and this one's fire.
Same measure, but they're running different jurisdictions, the usual situation.
Okay, so town of Reading,
Thank you.
yes, 2, no, 1. Fire District number 3, yes, 10, no, 2.
Okay.
Orcas School District, yes, 6, no, 3. And Island Brook, approved 10, rejected 1.
Okay.
And on the Orcas School District, we have 1 undervote
Overvote or undervote?
and 1 overvote.
Okay, if we can just read the overvotes
Sure.
since that's the undervotes, they'll show on here, but they're not gonna show on the matrix, because every ballot pretty much has an overvote. But for this purpose, we just wanna make sure that the overvotes, are tracking there.
Yes, we have one overvote
Okay.
for Orca School District and no overvotes anywhere else.
Okay, sounds good. And for the blank ballot, we verified the blank ballot when we reviewed the ballots on the screen. So the blank ballot won't show, it'll show on the cumulative report, but it's gonna show as an undervote. And in the matrix, we're not showing the total, it's not gonna show the total number of undervotes for each measure.
That was the one that was coded blue or some color.
Yes, and that's for the blank ballot, which we do have ballots where people will return the ballot because they just want credit for voting, but they've made the choice to not vote on a measure or a race. When that does happen during ballot processing, the A team will let us know, saying, hey, we have a blank ballot, and we'll just keep that here, jot a little note.
Sure.
It's just another thing to look out for, saying, in this batch, I know that there's a blank ballot.
Mhm.
And that's just another way to verify that the data is being read properly during the election. So everything matched up, which is happy face to me.
That's great.
All about
What
you
do you
now.
expect?
Yes. Okay, and we'll go ahead and take these reports cumulative. Did you want
Couple of
to review any
questions.
of these?
What's the most recent patch update on the software?
We did an update between the last special and the primary to version 2.3 last year. We will be upgrading to another update, skipping 2.4 to 2.5, and we'll be doing that before the primary.
Oh,
And it was recently certified by the state. We're just waiting to schedule that time with the company Hart that manufactures and
sure.
produces.
By the primary, you mean next month's election?
No, primary
You mean
in
the-
August.
Yeah,
Yes.
so there won't be an update before the April election.
No, once we start working on the election, we leave everything as is. And if we were able to get it scheduled prior to building the ballot, we could have done that, but the time for the state to certify the update and when we started with the election, things kind of overlapped.
Yeah.
So we just want to give ourselves plenty of time to get the updates. When we do updates, we have to mail our hard drives down to the company and then they'll mail them back. I think that with this one, they might physically be coming up, because we don't have access to any software underneath the software.
Mhm.
The only thing we do is change the time, and that's the only thing we're authorized to change on the computers.
Is your day-to-day tech support done by our own people or Hart Ready?
No, our election equipment is, there's only two people that touch it. It's myself and Amy, and then the company.
And it's not on the network.
Yeah, it's just plugged into electricity. There's no network cards or internet or any of that. We do ask for assistance with the changing of batteries for battery backup, which is connected. So that's the only thing that IT will
Sure.
assist with. Okay, so we have zero report, cumulative report with the results, the matrix, the certification of the AVU being tested, and the addendum that all the hardware and software has been verified of current versions, and then the certification. And go ahead and sign that. And then Tom, if you'd like to sign as a witness.
Oh, sure.
And I'll have Mylene Henley, our county auditor, sign, and Amy Cadwell, election specialist, sign.
Are you guys aware that ranked choice voting is gaining horsepower in the CRC committee?
Kind of sort of following it and,
That's good.
I had heard that.
I
yeah.
just read the 12-page report about it. Oh, it could be something.
We have serious concerns about it.
Yeah.
The only
of
county
us
that's used it
do too.
before, you know about Pierce County, right?
I just, nobody asked you about that in your talks to CRC. Huh?
No, they were probably avoiding
They
it.
did? Oh, I don't think it was on really an issue yet.
But you know, I noticed that in Kevin's list of what issues people brought up, there were a lot of yes, let's do this, a lot of let's not do this, and so it's clearly a split issue.
Yeah.
Do you know about Pierce County?
Do I not?
Know about Pierce County and their experience with ranked choice voting.
I haven't read about
Right.
it.
They're the only
firsthand.
county in Washington that's used ranked choice.
Yeah.
Things
It's actually voted in by a charter review
Yeah.
amendment. And they had one election with it, and then the next year, or I'm not sure the timing, but a year or two later, it was voted out. It produced some results which nobody was.
Can you also make a copy just in case it doesn't scan?
Including the result, electing a
Please.
completely incompetent person to the rural association. And it's funny, and I don't understand why this is, but I know that RCD is, it's kind of a partisan issue. Republicans tend to be against it, Democrats tend to move for it, and I don't get that. I mean, to me, it's just an election matter. This should be just about science and math. But, I don't know. I mean, I know that it's gotten a lot of steam in the legislature, and honestly, I think there may come a time when it becomes an option for jurisdictions within the state. There was a bill in the legislature this year which did not make it, but it may another year. And what that said was that counties would have to make it available to jurisdictions after jurisdiction's choice. But it is, I heard somebody say that it costs paying $100,000 to and maybe that bill has to look at it. But in most cases, it appears to be, you know, you've got to do a lot of stuff. So it requires some changes, and one of the things the auditors are requesting is this bill has gone through, is that it be a 2-year lead time, so that we can deal with the software. Because of the cost issue, if it's going to happen, I'd rather do it from the legislature than from the charter review commission.
Yeah.
And the reason is, if that happens, my guess is the state will pay for it. We do it locally.
What's gonna be on the election subcommittee agenda for this Thursday?
Well, maybe I'll join you.
Yeah, that'd be great.
I unfortunately have a really busy week. You know what time that meeting is?
4 o'clock.
I think I'm free by then. I'll try to do
I
that.
haven't seen the chairman publish the agenda yet, so this is,
Here's the chair.
this is tentative. Anyway, be good if you
It's
could.
our file.
Who's the chair that committee?
Tony
With
Gazelle.
everything,
Oh, yeah.
that was scanned through all the reports, we will lock it in a lockbox and it's not opened until, the retention schedule, is up, and then we'll just file it with the election. We do have a copy of the report. We will also post the, official LNA reports and, matrix, and ballots on our election site, sanwanco.com/elections. If you have any questions, feel free to give us a call. Numbers are posted on the website. Thank you, and goodbye.
I'm sorry about asking that question.
Somebody wrote a letter to elections and
I would say the same thing to anybody.